Okay, hi everyone. So sorry for the delay. I promised the next video next day after the last video, but um, I've been away for a while. So you go away. So it took me a while to kind of regroup and make those videos again. But anyway, let's jump right into it. So if we go back, so I want to focus on undergraduate and how to test this new undergraduate subclass. So, but first I want to do a second constructor. So there is this, so Java has this kind of concept where depending what you want to achieve, you can have different constructors. You might have no constructors at all. So if you didn't put either this one or that one here, you can still populate your your class or fields of that class with set methods. So what Java would do is it would create a default constructor for student when it's being created as when we type new student. But what I wanna have here. So last time we created this one, so we make sure it creates a new array list of integers for the grade list. So we have like empty array list. But I also want to have a choice of populating student straight away. So if I put name, ID number, course name, the year, registration, and the grade list, I want to be able to create a student straight away without using the methods, set methods. Okay, so that's how it works. So basically what Java would think is if you write new student and no arguments inside, it's going to go straight to this constructor number one. Otherwise, if you populate the new student with the arguments, it's going to go here and use those arguments to populate the fields of student. Okay, so I wanna do it that way. It doesn't have to be done that way for the assignment, I suppose. Um, I think it's good to kind of know and practice it. So feel free to use two constructors or zero or one. Doesn't matter, but it's good to practice. Okay, so here is your undergraduate. So first I'm importing whatever libraries I need. Obviously, feel free to play around and maybe Google stuff that you wanna have in your subclasses or in your main function. So for now, I just need this to get the undergraduate subclass to work. All I need is this here, this library here. Okay, so let's start with um, declaring a class called undergraduate, which extends student. So that means student is a superclass for undergraduate, and undergraduate is a subclass for student. And that's how you kind of tell the computer, hey, computer, this is the undergraduate that is a subclass to student. And the opposite, student is a superclass that that is extended by undergraduate. Anyway, and then we give the additional variables that is the assignment is asking for. So we need to add a stream and final project name. And here is something additional, something I came up with when I was playing around with different stuff, and I found this static thingy. And I know we spoke about static, and here is a nice way to see how it actually works. Basically, static is something that if you have like five objects, say Marek, Michael, Jennifer, and whatever, five different students um, who are in undergraduate, who are yeah, so who who are an instances of undergraduate, okay? um, then they all share this number here, this number of students. And at the beginning, you set it to 0, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you'll see it how it's being done, okay? So this is like additional, you don't have to put that in. So here is how you create a non-argument um, constructor. So as in this case, no argument are being passed. Is the same here. So you get you put that super um, function, called functional method, whatever. You just write in super and you pass in all the arguments you want to pass, which is nothing because you're sticking to this constructor. So it's gonna use this constructor if you use super and no arguments. And then we add and whatever we want to add for this subclass. So the difference between student and undergraduate has to be shown in here. So if I didn't put that additional number of students that isn't asked, you don't have to do it for the assignment, it's just for yourself. If I didn't put that in, I would just leave it like that, just super, no arguments, that's it. That's the non-argument constructor. This achieves the counting this the of the students. So whenever you create a new kind of student, it's gonna add one more to already existing number. So at the beginning it's 0. So if you create the first one, the constructor puts 1, adds 1 to 0, and then we have 1. Then we create another one, and it becomes you add 1 to 1, and you get 2. So you have 2 students, and that's how you kind of keep the track of the students. Um, and you'll see later how you kind of check how many students we have. Okay, so constructor 2. Okay, so when you pass, when you want to have arguments and you want to use the previous constructor, this one here, you need to pass all the arguments that are being used inside of super. It doesn't have to be exactly the same name. It's kind of good to keep it the same name because you don't get confused. But obviously, if you put A, B, C, and D in here, and put A, B, C, D, sorry, and E in here, it knows it kind of connects it here, and then it passes it to here. Okay. So it doesn't have to be the same name, but it's good if it's the same name. And then we have 1 and 2 for sorry, we have stream name in and final project in that we want to use for our stream name and final project name. And again, we have to add this line the same as here because it's either using this constructor or this constructor. Okay, so in it doesn't use both of them. It doesn't always know we have to do this. So you have to emphasize you want to add one more student here as well as here. Okay, and so you super the previous fields and you add new fields and whatever you wanna undergraduate to do. Okay, now we have set methods, so that's easy. That's exactly the same as before. And we have the get methods, and in here I added one more for get the number of students, so we know how many students we have. It's not going to work with the name of a student. It's going to work with the name of the class. So if I create an instance called Marek, and that's going to be a new undergraduate, um, I'm not gonna go. I'm not. I don't think it's gonna work if I write Marek dot number of students. I think it's gonna work if I write undergraduate dot um, number of students. And now I put a long line in here to stop and say, listen, guys. Now we have those two methods that we have to figure out. One is initials, and one is the warning if you have a low mark, the average mark. So I'm going to stop here and tell you, obviously try to do it. Try to think what is the way, like obviously for initials you want to like go letter by letter, character by character in the name, in the full name in here, and you get the name using get name method. Where's the get? Set and get. So you want to use this get student name and get that name, and then go through that name and see which one is the first letter of name and the first letter of the surname, whatever the way you think would be um, most logical. Let's say you want to see if it's uppercase. Obviously, if you write in your name, you don't use lowercase, you write uppercase for your first letter, and then rest is in lowercase. So maybe you can go through your name or the student's name and see, is it uppercase? If it's true, then then you want to kind of add it to your initials. Then and then okay, so that's going to be your initials, and then return it. And for the second method, I suppose um, you wanna check if the average mark is below 50, because that's when we're supposed to get this. Sorry, I have to pause it here. Let's pause. Okay, sorry. So what was I saying? Yeah. So the average. So you go here, you invoke. So inside of your new method that you create in Undergraduate, you use calculate grade average, obviously. So you want to see what is the average grade for the specific student, and you check if it's under 50, and then you give the warning. If not, you just do nothing, probably. That's what I did. So try doing it. If you can't do it, let's have a look, maybe in the new video, because I think that one is long enough. Okay, thanks for watching.